All right, guys, welcome.
Hey, Brian, this is Devin Johnson.
So my name is James. I'm the head of product adoption here at PushPress, and we're back. I think we took a almost a 3-week hiatus through the holiday, through Thanksgiving and whatnot. So I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving, if you celebrated Thanksgiving this year. And it's been an active couple of weeks for us here at PushPress. Humble brag, last week we launched PushPress Free. So if you don't know about it, definitely look at pushpressfree.com. I would share that with all your friends, especially if you have aspiring gym owners, aspiring personal trainers and whatnot. It's really one of the big first products that we put out there to really help gym owners where they're at, rather than lock people into a professional service. This way, people get in the service and start utilizing a lot more of the automations and whatnot, and have a real system to help them grow their business. So really excited about that. And that's been a long work in progress for us here. So we're really excited that we can finally launch that. But if you're here today, chances are you've already heard about it or you just don't need it. And if you are here today, you came here to learn a little bit more about Zapier and how Zapier works with PushPress. So what we'll dive in today is really some basics, what Zapier does, how we can utilize in the system, and then we'll walk through some basics on the setup and some sample workflows that we built in Zapier. And so the beauty of Zapier is you can do a ton of different things. It really just depends on your level of creativity and imagination on how you want to utilize it. So give me 1 second here. Okay. So we'll kind of dive right in. So our Zapier integration. Well, first, let's kind of talk about what Zapier is, right? So if you're not familiar, Zapier is an automation tool. It really just allows you to connect 2 or more different systems together without needing an engineer or someone who has experience coding. So the cool thing is, once you do have multiple systems plugged in, you can just start passing data back and forth, which makes it really easy to automate a lot of things. 1 second here. Broken down, or very basic version of how Zapier works. Effectively, you have a trigger. Okay. Sorry, let me get my mic set. So effectively, you have a trigger, in which case we can explain that as an action, right? So what you do is you, anytime you add a new member, you can use that as the trigger, and then you can connect an app, right? So in this case, for the sake of this example, we'll say you want to, for every new member that comes in the system, you want that information pushed to a Google Sheets where you can kind of track their attendance, track their touch points, all those kinds of things. So you connect the app, and so now you can create this workflow, this Zapier workflow, where when a member comes in the system, this action will take place. Shouldn't it? So that's kind of a very high level view of what Zapier is. Okay. Bear with me here. So why would you want this in the first place, right? Well, Zapier just allows you to open up your system to build in a lot of custom solutions for your business. So if there's something that doesn't work for a certain system, doesn't have all the features you want, or let's say if you're using a workout tracking software in your CRM, which would be PushPress, and then maybe some kind of other tracking software, you wouldn't be able to utilize all those together very easily without a lot of manual work, right? And what Zapier does is allows you to customize all of those and automate a lot of that, so you wouldn't have to sit in front of a computer and manually move people's information back and forth. So it really allows you to, it almost just frees up your time from having to sit and manually manage all these tasks. And again, from there, if you don't have a system that suits your exact needs, well, now you're not limited to that. Now you can go ahead and build that system in and start plugging in different solutions to make the system that works specifically for your business. And that's the beauty of this. So let's kind of dive in. So we'll go back to my screen here. Okay, so we'll first go over really just how to configure Zapier. Okay. All right. So for pro clients, you would find this under the App Store. Just gonna log that in here. And if you are on PushPress free, you currently do not have access to this. This is something only available to those on PushPress Pro. So if it's something you want to explore and you're on the PushPress free plan, hit us up in the chat and we can talk about if it makes sense for you to upgrade into Pro and if you can really utilize these features to help grow your business. So back to configuring the app, okay? We can go into Zapier here, configure. And if this is enabled, just go to enable it. And what that does is it opens up these pairing codes, okay? So if you don't have a pairing code here, what I would do is just generate one. So hit the plus sign and you can name it Zapier. I have a few already in the system, so I'm gonna name it Zapier 2, create a new pairing code. All right. So now we've created that. And I'll just show you where to find the two pieces of information that we'll need to connect PushPress to Zapier. So we'll go to View Info, and then we're going to keep the screen open so we can see in reference to these two numbers here, the pairing code and the secret code. So now you go into your Zapier account, and I believe on one of the basic plans, you can get a few free zaps. So if you're just testing this out, just go to create a Zapier account. And we'll go to make a zap. So we'll go to PushPress. And then we'll select the trigger. Okay, so don't worry about these for now. I'll explain those in a little bit more depth a little later. So let's say a new subscription. So where we can connect this is here, okay? So I've already connected a few different systems, but what I'll do is walk through how we go ahead and set this up with a fresh start. So we go add new account. Looks like it's a little busy today. All right. Okay, so if you notice, these two numbers look really familiar. Okay, so what we're gonna do is go back to your PushPress control panel, grab your pairing code first, copy and paste. And we'll do the same thing for the secret code. Copy and paste. Yes to continue. And that can go back into Zapier. Good. So now this account is connected. So what that means is PushPress data can now flow into Zapier. All right. So now that we've created an act or a trigger, well, now what we need to do is set an action, right? So let me back this back out. All right. So we're going to test and review just so we can see what data is actually getting pulled. This is just good habit to know exactly what data is getting pulled for each trigger. So if you click on this and kind of scroll down, this is just a little bit of the information that gets passed through. So a lot of this might not make any sense at first, but once you get more comfortable with Zapier, you'll start to understand how to leverage all of this information in ways to and create more custom solutions for your business. All right. So rather than go through and create a new Zap, I'm going to go through and just walk you through a few sample Zaps that I just created not too long ago. So one is a new member SMS. So what I like to do is anytime a new member signs up for a membership plan or a trial plan, I like to make sure that my coaches are informed that someone has signed up. And what this allows us to do is really just make sure that our coaches are on top of follow-up when someone signs up for a new membership. So I'll walk you through what that Zap looks like. So we're going to choose app and event. Okay, so in this case, obviously we'll choose PushPress as the app. And then the trigger for this, we'd create this as new subscription. Okay, and then I've connected to the earlier PushPress account that I've connected earlier, and I can test and review this. Good, so it's pulling in some information. That's all I need. I go to done editing.
And so when you go into this, I'm going to go ahead and just delete this so we can start this from scratch again. So delete that. So right now I don't have any action. So I'm going to just click on this plus sign. And the one I was using earlier was SMS by Zapier. SMS by Zapier is pretty cool. What it allows you to do is send a text message or an SMS message directly to either your phone, your staff's phone, or any phone number that you specify with the information pulled from the trigger, okay? So hit continue. And what we'll have to do is select the SMS account. So I've already connected this, but again, if you have not connected an SMS account yet, you can just go to add new account and then really just walk through it. Zapier has done a really good job of making this as bulletproof as possible. So in which case, I'd input my phone number here, select if I want to select it, or if I want a confirmation message via SMS or call, and then I would confirm the PIN to verify that I'd be sending it to the right phone, okay? In this case, I will go through and just select the SMS account I created earlier. All right, and so the from number, not super important. If you have a gym phone number you want to put, you can put that in there. I'm just going to select this as random. It's not a big deal. What's really cool is this message. Okay, so this message I want sent to my coaches to alert them that someone has purchased a new membership and for them to follow up. So I can write something like, hey, and this is where we start passing data back and forth, right? So, hey, John, space, let's see, I'm going to select the last name, then that's original, has purchased a new membership. And maybe throw some emojis in here because everyone loves emojis. All right. And then maybe some follow-up instructions. Make sure to follow up and schedule a goals consultation. Cool. That's it. And so what we've customized is in this message, anything that we're pulling from PushPress will get pushed right into this message unique to this specific member, right? So if I continue and test and review, this message, if I did this right, whoops, it should pull up into my SMS. So let me pull that up here. Right, so that just that came up automatically, and it did correctly push through the member's name. And so again, you can start to see, kind of put the pieces together on just the limitless ways that you can use Zapier. And that's all today's webinar is about, is introducing Zapier and hopefully just kind of sparking some ideas on ways that you can utilize it. Let me show you another one that I created earlier. So we'll go back to my created Zaps and check it. This one I think is pretty good too. So connect PushPress and choose trigger event. And again, we can select from any one of these triggering events. In this case, we will select new check-in. Choose account. We've already gone through that process. And then find data. We've also got that process as well. Again, this kind of pulls in just sample data. So I'll select that. And then we'll go to the action, which I've already created, but we can just walk through the steps. All right, so again, from where we're gonna go connect this to SMS by Zapier. We'll choose the account. We'll customize this SMS. So in which case, let's say someone comes in for their first class and you want that specific coach to be alerted, hey, so-and-so has just checked in, make sure you follow up with them after class. Again, a lot of this is just different ways that we can leverage technology and automations to create a better experience for your members, okay? So hit continue. And we can test this as well. Good, so you can see that I just had some movement on my SMS here, on my chat. All right, so obviously this works in the testing environment. So what I'm gonna do is turn this on, enable this Zapier, and then we'll go back to my dashboard. And let's just kind of run through this so you can see what it looks like from start to finish. So hit close. Let's go back to our dashboard. And again, if you remember, our triggering event was a new check-in. So we can go and check someone in from the dashboard. I don't know anyone in the system. Let's see. All right. So let's check Alex. We'll check Alex into class. So override check-in rules. And good. So in real time, it's a little bit slower, but again, that was about 2-second delay. I'm not sure why that name didn't pull in correctly here. Let me take a look at that. But again, you get the gist. And so we've only went through a few different examples on the action. But again, if you kind of go through this, you have all this available at your fingertips. It's really just comes down to, do you understand the data that's getting pushed into or from PushPress into Zapier? And then what solution you really want to create. So try to make this process as easy as possible to understand. We have a few help documentations on that. Once, if you go to help.pushpress.com, and I'll include this link in the video replay of this, but this is a good reference article here to know exactly what actions we can trigger off of, right? So trigger off a new person, if we update any information, right? So if someone changes their name or their email address, we can have that updated to whatever workflow you were using this for. And obviously, if you're new or updated subscriptions, you can see there's a ton of data we can push through. And this is something that we're constantly evolving as more and more users become savvy to leveraging automation. We'll start adding a lot more to these triggering items. But again, this is a good reference article on what you can trigger off of. And again, from there, it really just, it's up to you on what solutions you want to create. You know, so just recently, I've been diving a lot deeper into Zapier for my own business and workflows. And I find myself in Zapier a lot. And even though I'm spending a lot more time in Zapier, what that's doing is saving me, 10 times more man hours. The 1 hour I spend in Zapier saves me, 5 to 10 hours of just manual data entry every time an action comes in, right? So I just encourage all of you guys to just play around with it. At first, just understand data. And that's gonna be something that, as businesses evolve, especially as a fitness business evolves and more members are starting to leverage technology, utilizing things on their phone, this is where you can start to really open up those possibilities. And I know we do have some Zapier whizzes currently using PushPress. So if you have any cool use cases that you think that you could share with the rest of us, just throw in the chat or throw it on the video replay on this in Facebook. We'll have this, again, available for everyone via Facebook and then as well as through a blog post. Or if there's anything that you guys had, any ideas you had, but didn't fully understand in terms of how to utilize Push or how to utilize Zapier, or if you're curious about any solutions, can I do this with this? Again, just throw it in the chat, throw it somewhere where we can see it. And if we don't have a current solution for that, we can definitely help explore what that looks like through Zapier. And that's the cool thing about this is, if we really kind of harness the power of Zapier, we eliminate the need for needing a lot of our engineering power into developing native integrations. And so you can just kind of build things as your own. So that kind of wraps up what we wanted to talk about today. Does anyone have any questions? If you do have any questions, throw them in the chat. But before we do wrap up, I know we are coming up towards the end of the year. Actually, it is December now. And next week's webinar, we do have a guest presenter, Eric Leclerc. Eric is new to the PushPress team, but he comes with a wealth of knowledge. And next week, he will be presenting on how to create an annual plan. So, by this time of the year, most businesses should have had a plan for next year. If not detailed month to month, at the very least, kind of goals for the entire year. And if you don't, no big deal. You know, everyone starts somewhere. So next week's webinar will Eric will walk us through really how to just kind of grasp the big concept of this and bring it down in smaller and smaller chunks. So that'll be a really exciting one, and we'll have that registration link available pretty soon. Let's see. So we did get a question in here from Dustin. Can you create a single Zap to go to multiple SMSs? Yes. So if we go back to, let's see, let's go back to our check-in Zap. Send an SMS. Let's see, choose account, and then choose SMS. So what I would do is just specify each of those numbers here. So I would add another SMS by Zapier. And again, this is just to be able to allow Zapier access to be sent the SMS. So they're not going to spam people. You know, if you're looking for something a little bit more comprehensive in terms of notifications, right? If it's going to be, if you wanted something like, you know, to inform your entire staff, maybe a better solution would be to use Slack, right? So this is just a one-off, and you could add a few more in here, right? So you can add a different number here, just choose a different account and add a new account. And obviously you would just input another number here, but you'd have to go through the same process of verifying the PIN and all that good stuff. One thing, again, if you want to use this on a larger scale, is I would probably use Slack. That is a paid service, so there's some drawbacks to that. But you know, you can push through a ton of information there. And then as far as who that actually goes out to, I could show you what that looks like. You know, we could send a direct message to a specific user, send a channel message. So anyone who has access to a channel. So my business, for my gym, we do use Slack. And one of our channels is members and leads, right? So I can send a message to that channel. Let's see. They're very connected to this, so we don't have to go through the setup process for that. And I'll pick a channel. So these are all the channels I've already created in my Slack, right? So what I can do is specify I want this to go to members channel. And let's say, hey, so-and-so, let's see, Randy has just purchased a membership. Please follow up. Cool. So this is the custom message here. Let's say this to go directly to this channel here. And then here, just some further customizations. But we can hit continue. And then obviously let's test and review this. All right, so if I go to my Slack, which I already have open, so fuse here, members. Hey, Randy has just purchased a membership, please follow up. So simple as that. And the easier way, the reason why I prefer Slack, if it makes sense for your business, is because you can customize a lot of the distribution here. There's so much more that you can control through Slack. But that was kind of a long-winded answer for, can you connect multiple SMSs? Short answer is yes. And again, explore a bunch of different ways that you can utilize this. It doesn't hurt just to test things out and see if it really makes sense, because I've had a ton of ideas of how I wanted Zapier to work for us. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You know, my idea might have just been too lofty or just too complex, or the data just wasn't available. But most circumstances, it's worked out really well. So thanks for that question, Dustin. All right, guys. So it looks like we're gonna wrap up for today. But again, next week, join us same time, and there'll be a new registration link, and we will have Eric Leclerc on the call. And again, he's a man of very kind of rigid plans. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's very knowledgeable, and that's why we brought him on the team. So I encourage you guys to check that call out. I'll be on the call as well. And We'll see you guys next week. Thanks, guys.